Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast.
Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Kyle Zappitell. Kyle Zappitell, former Xbox engineer and founder and CEO of Bash.gg, a gaming sensation in the US and beyond, is championing gaming platforms as the new, better social networks. Designed as a judgment-free place to meet, Bash.gg caters to Gen Z and Gen Alpha's quest to connect through games like Minecraft and Fortnite. Hailed as the ultimate gaming liberation, Bash.gg provides instant and free access to social gaming directly through the browser without the need for expensive consoles or gaming PCs. Well, good afternoon, Kyle. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brian. Very happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. This is awesome. I appreciate meeting someone new every day and getting to hear their story and then with their permission share it out to the world. So we're going to just jump right into these questions, Kyle. Let's talk about your career a little bit so we give everybody kind of a background. You were a software engineer, serial entrepreneur, angel investor, now the founder and CEO of Bash.gg. Could you share with our audience the secret to your career growth and what inspires you?
That's a great question, Brian. I'm still discovering the secret to career growth as I continue on this venture that I'm on. But, I think I just get inspired by building things. So I think fundamentally, everything always comes back to finding some sort of passion that gets you out of the bed in the morning. And for me, that happens to be taking some idea in my head and turning it into a reality and then connecting that with, some audience or, in the case of business, some customer. So that's what really ends up motivating me. And specifically with Bash, it's been kind of fun. And honestly, it reminds me of when I was a kid and I played games, and I'm very thankful to all the people who made those games. But I get to share Bash with kids who send us emails and tell us how amazing, their experience is and how thankful they are that Bash exists and that that's a place where they can spend time with their friends. So that's why I do what I do. In terms of career growth, I think if you have that passion going toward, whatever you're interested in most, your career will grow with that.
Thank you. I appreciate the insights and your opinion and perspective on your career trajectory, but also being an entrepreneur. Obviously, we get a little bit of different perspective on that. And you're absolutely right. You got to have a little bit of that passion, something that kind of stirs you up to get you out of the bed in the morning. So I appreciate that. And of course, it's a fun industry. And I appreciate all the games that were created when I was growing up and going through that stuff as well. So thank you.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's something that I think is just, we look at entertainment as this kind of, not as it necessarily always in a positive light, potentially people are wasting time or something. But the reality is, especially as a kid, that it's just some of the most impactful stuff, being able to spend quality time with your friends kind of on demand and have this medium of interaction, this game. It's, a lot of games are like team sports. And it's just great for social development and just adds to and are honestly probably a big part of the foundation of kids' memories, childhood memories at this point, now that we, move into a more technological age. So yeah, I just wanted to call that out. I think it's a really important thing.
Absolutely. That's awesome. And you're right about that. There's a lot of connections to be had. In fact, before I hit the record button, I told you my son was a professional gamer, and my son and I both met people that we would have never met if we had not gone through, some of this growth as gamers, right? So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Kyle, I love this space, the gaming space. We're an emerging tech. We do all kinds of stuff. But as a previous gamer, I'm always intrigued about the direction of these new innovative games, right? You're changing to the industry as well. And you recently, I'll say, declared gaming platforms as the future social networks. Could you maybe elaborate on that a bit for us?
Yeah, I think, I say the future of social networks, but it's probably already the social network of now. You see younger people spending a lot more time on games like Fortnite or Roblox than you do see them spending time on your classic social media, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. And the big reason for that is because you can have more meaningful connections. And I think when we look at the drawbacks of classic social media, a lot of the reason that it increases loneliness versus decreases it is because you aren't having that connection with somebody. You're observing, from like kind of a fishbowl what their life is like and what they're doing. And they're presenting that to you in an exact way that they want you to see it. Whereas when you're playing a video game with friends, you're simply hanging out with them. You're kind of socially connecting in a way that I think humans have since kind of the dawn of humans, which is just playing. And I think that is a much better way for us to kind of continue to develop and invest in social and kind of enable people to have these experiences and these connections that are more intimate than vast and broadcasty. So I see that as like this positive trend towards the future of social media being games. But yeah, so I do think that, if Facebook is to be unseated over the next decade, it's going to be by some game, probably one specific game versus anything else.
That's great. And I love to see the iterative changes in technology and whatever it is. Over the years, we've all experienced some of that, right? When the first cell phone came out, et cetera. But you're right. I think something that's more engaging, more fun as far as a social network, and I guess integrating that gaming aspect of it's just going to make it more fun, gamifying as they would say. That's awesome. Thank you, Kyle. And Kyle, we do talk about emerging tech here on this platform. So we just like to ask you, whether you're a technologist or not, or a gamer, you're obviously leveraging some of that new and emerging tech in your platform. Is there anything you might be able to share with us today?
Yeah, one of the big technological shifts that it is like really underrated. Not that, this necessarily has to be a big deal, but just that it could be. The potential is there. And that's this thing called Web GPU. And we're leveraging this with bash.gg. So what Web GPU is it's a way for the browser to completely interact with, in the ways that game developers already do for native games, interact with the GPU, the graphical processing unit, which is really important to emerging tech. So it's important to artificial intelligence. Let's say you visit a website and it wants to do something AI related. Likely you'll want to be able to leverage a GPU that you have on your device, because these days we have pretty powerful devices and they often have these GPUs, and being able to leverage that moves compute from the cloud, where it's super expensive, to edge devices where it's cheaper because you actually own that hardware and it costs nothing to the person who developed the site. So then they can offer their services even cheaper. And of course, the part where it matters for gaming is anything graphical. Of course, games are very graphics intensive. And so they leverage the GPU in order to display graphics. So we're leveraging that. And we're also encouraging game developers who are on the web to start to leverage that. It's shipped and live on Google Chrome. So it is live on the web, and it'll be coming to Safari at some point or another. A lot of the browsers you use are Chromium or Google Chrome based. And so I see this actually as one of these technologies that people don't really know about. It's not really a hot discussion right now. It's not your blockchain AI insert, other large shift here. It's something that's a little more understated, but I think has the opportunity to, kind of tie into all those areas and be extremely impactful. And the reason we love the web is because it's just this open place where there's no walled gardens like many people complain about on Apple, and people can just build and deploy and bring their software straight to their customers directly by visiting a domain, which is extremely powerful. But you need, of course, the capabilities to support those advanced experiences that people expect. And Web GPU is one of the technologies in the web that will enable those.
Thank you. And you're right. Making it easier for everybody to join in is the key. And we see that obviously with some of the emerging tech. You'd mentioned insert tech here, right? But WebXR is an augmented reality that you don't need any goggles and you can sit there and interact on the web. So that's awesome. So thank you for sharing that. Kyle, last question of the evening here. Can you share something from your career experience that might be helpful for those looking to grow their career in either tech, gaming, or entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things I've done in my career, one of the most important things, is try to look at every opportunity with just this, take every opportunity with this open mind and accept that you don't know exactly. Bezos has like a quote about that, I think somewhere that you can look up, but it's essentially something like you can't really piece the puzzles together about your future. It all makes sense once you're there. You can look back about how you got there, but it's impossible to tell, what are the steps that get you to wherever you want to go. And so if you just look at every opportunity, take every opportunity and look at it with like an open mind, it can really open doors. There are so many doors that can be unexpectedly open. And I honestly look at where I'm at, and there's zero chance that 5 years ago, I would know exactly what path would get me to where I'm at. And so if there were meetings or people that I didn't chat with, or moments where I decided to not go, do that thing that I didn't feel like doing, it's possible I missed out on some sort of opportunity that helped me get to where I'm at. So just leverage every opportunity that's available to you, even if it's outside your realm, even if it doesn't seem relevant. Chances are that you'll learn something or you'll grow in some way that's unexpected that will ultimately contribute to whatever path you're on.
Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that. And you're absolutely right. All the opportunities that you don't say yes to is a lost opportunity potentially, right? So I appreciate what you've shared there. And like I said, we've got a lot of enthusiasts, gamers, technologists, CEOs, all kinds of folks in our audience. So every little nugget that our guests share is most appreciated. And Kyle, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you on today, and I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Thank you, Brian. Super appreciate it.
Bye for now.